What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're working on the 1996 Toyota Camry station wagon again, and I'm going to show you how to replace the front struts. I will also link in the description a video on how to replace the rear struts, and that is wagon specific. Having said that, let's get started on replacing the front struts. To get started, let's get the car safely raised and supported on jack stands. Next, take the wheel off. If you don't have an air or an electric impact, you actually want to do this before you jack up the car, otherwise your wheel's just going to spin as you try to take it off. 21mm socket for the lug nuts. Next, you have a couple things to disconnect before the strut actually comes off. This job is extremely easy, so all you have to do is take off a 10mm bolt that is supposed to be holding this ABS wire here. That is already not being held on for me, so I guess I don't have to worry about it. But you can see the bolt is still in there, so you normally take that off. And then take off the 12mm bolt that's holding on the brake hose. And then just unclip this plastic clip here for the ABS wire, and now we can undo these two bolts. And to take these two off, you need a 22mm socket on the nut side. I strongly recommend a good electric or a pneumatic impact for this because they are pretty tight, but of course you can get them loose with just a breaker bar. Okay, so with these two bolts still in here but loose, let's move up top. Up here you want to get yourself a 14mm socket and undo the 3 mounting bolts that hold the top of the strut on. Careful on this one because the strut's going to want to fall down. It's not going to go very far though. Now you can come back down and you can use pry bar or your wrench to get these bolts out. If you wanted to, you could take the axle nut off so you don't potentially pull out your inner CV boot, but if you're careful you should be fine. Just make sure the knuckle doesn't come flying forward. Okay, this one's giving me a little bit of a struggle, so I'm going to put the nut back on so I can protect the threads. Then I'll use my hammer and see if I can drive it out of here. At this point you can move the knuckle back and forth, remove your bolt. Again, careful so the knuckle doesn't come flying forward. Keep it pushed back. And now that there's nothing holding in the strut at the top, this one's kind of rusted into place, so it's going to have to get wiggled out. Okay, and there you go. Out comes your strut. Now I'm actually reusing the coil springs off of these, and yeah, I know they're old, but they're still good. They still hold the weight properly. It's just that the shocks are kind of going out. So I bought new shocks. I'll link those in the description, but I will also link a set of full strut assemblies so that you can do the job much easier without having to swap over the coil spring. I will not be showing the coil spring swapping procedure. I'm just going to make this video as a full strut assembly replacement video. So old struts are out. Here's the new strut. I reused the spring. Like I said in the video, I am reusing the spring. I also reused the strut mount, but I did put a new bearing in it. Either way, I'm going to leave a link in the description to a complete assembly, which I do recommend. The only reason I reused the spring is because it's not an original spring. It's already been replaced with an aftermarket one, so all it needed was a new shock. But in most cases, it just needs a new spring and shock assembly. Anyway, let's get this in the car. So the first step is to actually put it in and attach it up top. So I'm going to slide it in. Make sure the brake hose goes behind the strut, not in front of it. As you slide it up, you want to make sure you match the holes at the top. Sometimes it won't fully line up right away, but just put in 2 of the nuts and then persuade it. Put the knuckle back in and insert the bolts front to back, which is how they came out. Insert the bottom bolt. And let's tighten these up. I slightly jacked up underneath the ball joint so that the knuckle can be seated all the way in. Next, I'm going to take a little bit of anti-seize and put it on the threads of the bolts that hold the ABS wire and the brake hose in place, and that's because in the climate I live in, they rust really bad. Okay, let's start with the brake hose. Tighten that down. I'm going to clip in my ABS wire clip here, and then this. By the way, I will put torque specs for everything in the description. Alright, and to torque the wheels, I like to have the car on the ground with a little bit of weight on the wheels. The torque for these is 76 foot-pounds. I have bigger wheels and tires, so I'm actually going to go to 85. But factory torque is 76. And now with the car back on the ground, let's tighten these three up. Again, torque specs are in the description. Well guys, I know this is not the car you just saw in the video, but unfortunately I forgot to make an outro and I don't have the Camry anymore. I actually sold it and now it's many months later and I am just now making the video and realizing that I don't have an outro. So, having said that, let's make an outro. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful. I hope there's a car coming, hang on. As I was saying, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful. Share it if you feel like it, if you know someone that needs to see this video. And having said that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.